Oh, yes. It is actually happening. Why? Why would it even be happening? I don't get it. What's going on? Wait a minute. No one told me. What? What are we doing? Are you serious? Really? Hey, what's up? PoGokeRo Pirate Broadcast. It is the eve before the change. The eve before the change. It has been the longest 4 years ever. My goodness. I'm here at the village on the other side of the Blaze Farm. I mean, it's a brand new world over here. I mean, like I could go. I don't even know it's here. Right. So we got Taiga Forest, whatever. The side. You got look at that. Lots of a nice pasture there and a cave. So check it out. Like, this is like a brand new start. I can make a base here if I wanted. Like, there's even a spot. It wants me to make a base right here. Look at this. It just says right here. Please make a base right here. That's what it's saying. And like, yeah, I have saddles, I have everything. Look, there's a horse with a saddle there already. So like, I don't know, it's kind of like, it's kind of speaking to me. But yeah, here, let's go over here. Let's go back home real quick. I need to go home and get secure first so I can talk. Because like, this is the end, right? Oh, man, these things hurt. I don't foresee Trump having any more cards to play at this point. He's played them all. Like, between now and I don't think there's anything else he can do, possibly. I don't know how he's gonna sleep tonight. He's gonna yeah, I don't know how he's gonna sleep. He ought to be crapping his pants even more than usual right now, because at the moment that right now he's saying goodbye to everyone and writing his pardons and stuff, which are going to be thrown out because he's I'll get to it later. This is too loud. Okay, it's he's not really legitimate, but this is my last chance, right? This after today, I won't be able to do any more railing against Donald Trump as the president, and kind of the driving force of my being here is him being there. So once he's not there, I don't really see how I can be here. At least not like this. Like, I'll be here. I mean, I'm not going anywhere. I mean, like, right? But yeah, what drove this whole thing, right? Like, here, let's go over some of this stuff, right? Like, this is the reflection. This is like the mirror reflection, the mirror image of the other train station. And when you go in here, and remember, every train station, everything that I make here is just another iteration of the first thing that I made in the first like big long world. When I made my first train station and I named it Memorial Train Station, every train station after that, like There's been Grandfather Station. There's been Grandmother Station, Grand Memorial Central Station, or Central Memorial Station, that was called. Yeah, Central Memorial Station. Central Station. Dedicated to those who have given their lives in the service to truth, liberty, and justice. Or no, giving their lives to an ideal. May their souls rest with truth, liberty, and justice. Yeah. So every one of them, right? And so a lot of people, and inside of it, there was a shrine to the Poppy Shrine. And then the gold farm that was in that world was called the Florence Larson Gold Farm. And every gold farm, every like overworld gold farm afterwards is in reference to that. So, I mean, it's not that way all the way through, but at least not consciously. But a lot of it is, right? Like, I mean, like that like the Rainbow Sheep Farm. Yeah, always the Rainbow Sheep Farm. And always the train station, always the Rainbow Sheep Farm. This is kind of neat. This is kind of a new thing because I didn't know this technology the first time. This technology. The mob farm. Yeah, I didn't know it first time. So the first iteration was a creeper farm. And it was the biggest creeper farm in the world. It was giant. My God. It was huge. It was so big. And I made it in bedrock. And the top of it was ugly. It was a big white square. And I'm like, man, that looks like surrender or something. I'm like, I can't have that. but I didn't know what to put there. And then all of a sudden, the Black Lives Matter movement happened. And then I was like, wow, that's cool. And then they're all painting the streets and stuff. I'm like, wow, that's cool. I'm dumb. I don't know. It took me a while, right? And then I saw this guy. I guess he's one of the programmers for Minecraft. He made like a beacon. He made like 3 beacons in a row or 3 beacons, and each one was a different color, and it's a BLM, and each beacon each beacon gave you power. And he was talking about it like that. I'm like, man, that's awesome. That's super cool. I never thought about doing that in Minecraft. That's like brilliant. And then some hater, some loser, I don't know who it was. It was just some random internet loser who had to come by and steal some energy, right? That's what they do. The haters, that's what they do. They break things down and take the energy. He comes by and starts trying to like talk crap about the BLM. He's like, oh, it looks like crap. It looks terrible. It looks stupid. And so I can't let that stand, right? So I'm like, I step in. I'm like, well then, if you're so great, why don't you make a better one then? And then it dawned on me, hey, why don't I make a better one? And so I turned the creeper farm into BLM, a big BLM advertisement. And I'm like, yeah, that's awesome. BLM, nice. And I do it on purpose. I did it in black and yellow on purpose because that's the way it started. That's the beginning. That's the OG. And I have noticed that Nazis cannot create. They are not creative. Nazis are not creative. And so what they do is they steal. Nazis steal. Like, I try to like, I kind of borrow things. I take things, I remix things. I don't know if that's stealing, but I don't break the spirit of what the thing was made for. So Proud Boys, that's what they do. Nazis, that's what they do. They take symbols that they recognize have power, and then they break it so that all the content is like drained out of it, and they just keep the symbol, and they take the symbol. And so, for example, black and yellow was a very Black Lives Matter thing. And then the Proud Boys took it. What a bunch of jerks. Hawaiian shirts, are about indigenous rights. And then the Proud Boys took it. Not the Proud Boys, the Boogaloo Boys took it. Like, a bunch of settlers took it. Oh my God, my head. Because that's the thing. That's the way you got to look at it. In America, in the United States, people want to get caught up a lot in the race thing. People want to get caught up a lot in the race thing. But there's another relation that, I mean, I think the indigenous thing is a really good one too, because it gives us solidarity with the Palestinians. And that is, like I say us, but I'm a settler too, so I don't know. I'm like half settler, half not. I don't even know what I am. Like, oh man, I am like, if there's like a cusp of all cusps, I'm there. Wow, yeah, that's great. That's a good way of putting it. Wow, that's a good way of describing me. I like that. Good for me. Cusp of all cusps. Oh, that's fun. Okay. But yeah, white supremacists, I've noticed, they just steal people's stuff and then appropriate it to themselves all the time. Even the rhythm that BLM was using, like all cops are bastards, ba 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 ba. Proud Boys co-opted it and said fuck Antifa. Like, come on, guys. Do you not have a single like creative thought in your brains? Jeez, you guys are bankrupt. You Nazis are bankrupt. That's why you do what you do, because you're bankrupt. You have no thoughts of your own. So you steal other people's stuff. But because you don't have thoughts of your own, all you do is you steal other people's stuff, you break it to drain all of the content out of it, the spirit out of it, and then you take the lifeless husk, and then you like stick it back onto your like ideology, like broken things, like the color black and yellow, which was BLM, and then the Proud Boys co-opted it. Like, how lame are they? Like the rhythm, like Nazis always co-opt stuff. I don't even know what else. Like rap. Did you not hear the Proud Boys have like some stupid rapper? Like he's a lame rapper. I don't even know. I know one lame, terrible right-wing rapper by the name of Anomaly. That's what kind of got me. That motherfucker got me started in this shit. I swear to God, I was so naive in the beginning. Holy crap. See, oh wow, this is really interesting. I can look back to like exactly 4 years ago today, before Donald Trump became inaugurated, and be like, man, what did I know back then? I had my first taste that something was amiss because I noticed when Rudy Giuliani talked crap on Fox, and I had a sound clip on it, and like he had inside knowledge, and then so I blew it up on Facebook, I mean, as much as I could, right? And yeah, I didn't know anything. Like, I had no idea. I didn't know how like the government was structured. I didn't know about anything. I mean, I knew a little tiny bit, but I didn't really know anything. I didn't really pay attention. I mean, I kind of knew, but the vaguest of outlines, and not really to the degree that I know now. It's amazing how much I've learned about government and our criminal justice system and politics and all, and it's amazing how much stuff that I learned in college that I didn't realize I would use until I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Oh, wow. It kind of makes me want to go back, and I kind of want to stay there forever. But like that's almost not possible anymore. They've haven't they like decimated the university system? That's why it costs so much for students to go to school, because government has utterly withdrawn from higher education. It's almost like, oh man. Yeah, I remember the ominous day when California spent more on its prisons than it did on its universities. Trace the investment, see where it went. From nurture the student to resisting arrest. And see, here's the other deal, right? I'm muted on Twitter and Facebook. So ain't nobody knowing I'm doing this shit. Like, nobody knows I'm doing this. But like, no one, it doesn't really seem to matter because like, no one watches it live anyways. They all watch it afterwards, or if they watch it at all. I don't know. This is the end, man. This is weird. It's weird. Like I'm rambling. I'm like not even focused. I have this whole folder I made up of like important stuff, but like I'm talking about all this other stuff. Like, oh jeez. Okay, here, look at this. Oh man, this is the end of, yeah. After today, things change a lot. Like, they don't, but they do. I mean, I just, right? How stupid is that? Things change a lot, and they don't. Plus ça change, plus ça la même chose. C'est la même chose. Plus ça change, plus ça la même chose. God, my French is awful. God, I want to tell you about so much stuff, right? I've got so much stuff inside, but like I need to tell this to one person. I can't be like, woo. Okay. So, yo, this is not about me, right? This is about PoGokeRo and Donald Trump. So, with that in mind, I got kicked off, or I got banned from, not banned, muted. I got muted from Twitter for this tweet. What is ACLU was saying, "Hey everyone, we should abolish the death penalty." And under normal circumstances, I would agree. Donald Trump has gone on an execution spree right before he left office. He killed like 17, 20 people. I don't even know. And like, even if they were guilty, I will tell you now, the criminal justice system is messed up, and you cannot put 100% faith in its outcomes because of institutional racism. So the death penalty is more often given to minorities, and it itself isn't a barbaric thing, right? The death penalty is terrible. But I have an exception to this, and that is with powerful people. Like, so far, what I've noticed is the death penalty is only used on like the weakest people in society, the lowest people. I mean, yeah, they're male, maybe, but they're generally poor. And, yeah, and they're not, like, influential. They're not, like, businessmen or CEOs. Like, they might be, but, I mean, I doubt it. I mean, I'm apt to think that the death penalty is used against minorities more than anyone else, against the weakest members of society. So it seems just to me to use the death penalty against Donald Trump because he is powerful, number one. Number two, he utterly betrayed our country. I mean, it's not just the crime of us, a crime against a single person, like a murder, a horrendous murder. It's not just a crime against a single person. It's a crime against the whole country. And not even just against the whole country. It's a crime against the whole, like all our ancestors, right? All our ancestors. Because it's not just us. It's people who died in service to this ideal. So it's like a way greater betrayal than simply murder or theft. I mean, you're influencing. His betrayal is with 370 million people, at least, who are living, not counting the memory of those who have sacrificed for this nation. And so, I posit, yes, we should abolish the death penalty, save for Donald Trump, because there are a myriad of reasons why it is a wise decision to execute Donald Trump should he be found guilty of treason. Number one, I mean, mainly because I fear him spreading his misinformation. Which he is a master. He's a master of spreading misinformation. He's a master of it. Once they eliminated him from Twitter, misinformation dropped by something like 70%. So you can't argue with that. It's empirical evidence. It's not some my whole life thing. It's actual empirical evidence. It actually happened. So, and I look back through history and I see at times when people have and when societies have failed to crush insurrections. When they fail to crush insurrections, their insurrections metastasize and they do grave harm to the host. Grave harm. What else? What else can I say? So so there's a number of reasons why we should execute Donald Trump, and it's lawful. It's not like I'm saying something murderous. It's not like I'm asking for the mob to go get him, right? It's lawful. It's punishment for a crime. It's part of the USA. Like, it's what we do. Obviously, it's what we do. We obviously murder. Or we obviously execute criminals. That's what we do. It's part of our law. It's in our deal, dude. That's what we do. That's what we do. We're barbarians. We're barbarians like that. There's no lies about it. No lies detected. We're barbarians. Get rid of some of this stuff I don't need. I'm gonna grab a bunch of sand because I'm here. Okay, we're barbarians. We execute people in for retribution and revenge. That's what we do. We're a bunch of animals. It sucks. I hope we get better. But I don't want to get better before Donald Trump. I want to put the full weight of the United States law against Donald Trump. I want to give him the death penalty like he gave everyone else. Why is it that Twitter bans me for saying the truth? I'm not instigating violence, abuse, harassment. It's not targeted. He's not even there. Even if he were, he's got the Secret Service. And I'm not asking for them to murder him. I'm saying U.S. justice system, legal system. Yo, is Twitter saying they're on the side of the coup? Is that what they're telling me? Because that's what it sounds like. That's what it looks like by their behaviors. I've asked for an appeal, and they looked at it and they're like, we're still gonna ban you. Yet they allow the coup plotters to utilize Twitter to broadcast the coup and draw more people to it with no problem. So crime is okay with Twitter, but warning people of the penalty of doing crime is not okay. Interdit. Dame. Interdit. Dame. I can't even remember enough Japanese to like form me a sentence. Oh no, God, I spent 3 years there, but I wasn't there to learn Japanese. I was there to make money because I was so poor. Oh damn, you don't even know, guys. You don't even know how poor I was. So that's why. So I was there to work. Like I tried to take a class, but I didn't have the energy for it. I barely survived that, dude. Holy shit. I was like on the verge of going home. It was awful. I was so weak. I was so weak. I was so weak. Oh man. Holy shit. I didn't realize at the time how awesome of an experience that I was having. But hard to appreciate it when you're like struggling to like not collapse. Give yourself a break, dude. Okay. All right. Look at all this good sand. Good sand. I've got to make a glass structure with all this sand. So there was dirt here, but I took all the dirt to build my island. And now I'm taking all the sand. That's funny. But, like, this is about as low as I can go because at this point, like, it's underwater. But I can't just, like, and I should use it, right? I have to use it because I can't just build out here because there's nothing to build on. So this is the island. So I have to build on the island, which I will. And then I'll make a triad. I'll connect them all three. I'll make a triad. Because I talk like the pyramid's bad, and it is, like, for society, when all the wealth is on top. It's stable, you know, just like Egypt was stable. Like, it lasted 4,500 years, and like, holy crap. It didn't change much, but it lasted that long. Yeah, and look at American. Look at American society. We're like cancer. Ah, we change instantly. Oh shit. Ah, how foreboding. Oh, I just gotta get out of here. Come on, get out of here. Go home. Go home. Don't fight the phantoms. Just go home. Go home. So yeah, oh yeah, that's right. Here I was talking about this stuff. So Twitter kicked me off in the middle of a coup because I was telling the coup leader that the penalty for his crime is death, which all of it is true. All of it is true. All of it is true. None of it calls for violence, because violence is force outside of law. The state is the only legitimate source of violence, and I'm not calling for anyone else to do violence. I'm calling for the state to use its authority to enact violence legitimately. Yeah, and yet Twitter kicks me off. Holy crap! And not only Twitter, Facebook too. Oh, I'm mad. You can tell I'm mad. Why am I mad? Because this is a historic moment, dudes. This is a historic moment. I want to be able to express myself during this historic moment. And like, sure, yeah, I'm doing it now, but like, I'm kind of restricted in my bandwidth, you know? And it's historic because I'm like deathly afraid and I fear for the future of the Republic. Let me explain. Oh wait, ACLU. Let me do this one real quick. Yeah, dude. Other people use Twitter to commit crimes. For example, this tweet comes from Donald Trump on December 19th of 2020. So about 1 month ago from today. Hey. And he says, big protest in DC on January 6th. Be there, will be wild. Donald Trump is saying to all his people, come to DC. Let me rile you up so you can stage a coup on my behalf. So, so sure, we can say Donald Trump got booted from Twitter. Fine. And I'm not booted from Twitter. I'll be back in like a week. But still, that's a crime, and I'm not a crime. That's a crime, I'm not a crime. All right? Oh. Okay, next. No. So I fear for the Republic. Let me show you why. Ta-da! France Knows How This Ends by James McCauley at 6 a.m. today. I'm slurring my speech. Yo, this wine's great. I should drink like more often. Listen, it's terrible. No, that's terrible. No. All right. And drink before shows. No. This is my last show. That's why. Water knows. Oh, holy shit. Is this my last show? Oh no. It kind of is, because I won't be me. It won't be the same without Donald Trump there. That's why I'm here. I'm here because he's there. So if he's not there, who's here? Anyways, France knows what's up. That period in France, known as the Third Republic, never resulted in any reconciliation. It turned out to be impossible to compromise with those who had not only rejected the truth, but also found the truth offensive, a kind of existential threat. The social divide simply grew wider and wider to the point where bridging the gap became a futile proposition. Even the national mobilization in World War I was not enough to create a durable unity. The wounds of the past proved impossible to heal. In fact, unity turned out to be the wrong goal to pursue. What mattered was defending the Republic's values, a defense never made forcefully enough. That's what I'm doing. The Republic's values are absolutely paramount to the continued existence of the Republic, because since we're based on ideals, if we betray those ideals, if we don't coalesce around those ideals, then we lose who we are. Goodness, this is my last show. Maybe not, I don't know, I'm kind of tipsy here. I'm talking shit. All right, next. When historians now think about the Dreyfus Affair, which saw the wrongful conviction of Alfred Dreyfus, a Jewish military captain accused of treason and forced to serve a lengthy prison sentence on Devil's Island in French Guiana, we rightfully remember it as the most significant example of political anti-Semitism in Europe before the Holocaust. It was the event that inspired the young Theodor Herzl to outline his version of what we now know as Zionism, and and as Hannah Arendt later argued, not entirely convincingly, a 19th century nightmare that somehow foretold the horrors of the 20th century to come. Ooh, that's interesting. That this is where Zionism came from. Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting. Hey, let me think about that. Let me think about this. Of political anti-Semitism inspired Zionism. Political anti-Semitism, which inspired Zionism, which leads us to Israel and the Palestinian diaspora and occupation. Oh man. See, this is an example of trauma, like, propagating through the future. It's a cycle. It's the karmic wheel. It's the karmic wheel. So karma is not, I'm not an expert, but from how I understand it, karma is not some mystical woo thing. It is literally cause and effect. Like, you're literally, when you do bad things to other people, you're literally doing it to yourself. So when that badness comes back to you and people go, oh, it's karma, it's not some mystical thing. It's literally the shit you've already done yourself. You've already did to yourself. And here, I'm all scientist-y sometimes. Let me tell you what that manifests like. Just weird, right? Here I am in Japan, right? I own a bicycle, and I made dumb mistakes with this bicycle because I didn't understand the rules of what it means to own a bicycle in Japan. So at one point, I parked my bike in this area of bicycles that were gonna be like towed, and I didn't realize it. And so I came back for my bike, and it's gone because duh, oh, those bikes were gonna get towed, and you put your bike in there with them. Of course, it's gonna get towed. Sure, you can go try to go track it down somewhere, but good luck. It's way easier to spend another $200 to buy a new bike. And another time, like, okay, so what you do, or what, yeah, so what you do is, or what I did was, I rode my bike from my apartment, like the kilometer or whatever it was, to the train station. What? And I don't need anything. And in Japan, they have like these great little stalls set up, the parking spaces covered so it doesn't get rained on, for bicycles. You put your bicycle in, and you put this steel chain around your bicycle so it doesn't, no one can steal it, and then you push it in the thing and it locks it, and so it's stuck in there. And so to get it out, you have to put in 100 yen, undo the thing, and then take the bike out. So that way your bike is secure, and you can leave your bike there and take the train, and then come back and your bike is still there. You have to lock it again because all it takes is 100 yen to unlock it. So you need another lock to keep your bike locked. So because I tried that one too, and someone stole my bike. Right? I tried. I'm like, hey, I'll just lock it up with 100 yen and not lock it with a real lock. Nope. Someone stole my bike. So yeah. Gotta learn the hard way. If you're gonna be dumb, you gotta be tough. And I was real dumb in Japan. Oh shit. I'll get some more wine. That's so funny. This is so funny, dude. This is hilarious. I should have been doing this the whole time. But you know what? I'm afraid I'm going to be hungover tomorrow morning. So I need to drink a lot of water. Oh, man. I'm celebrating early. Woo! Donald Trump's going to be gone. Woo! But I totally got to drink water after this. Like, a lot. And I'm going to be peeing all night. But hey, it's cool. I'm on vacation. I'm on vacation. Why are you on vacation? Why did you take 4 days off? Because I was fucking breaking up. Like, I kid you not, I was breaking up. I couldn't handle it. I was having such a hard time. Like even now, I can't keep on my deal here. Look at this. This is terrible. I can't keep on my plan here. This is so funny. It's not funny, but like, yeah. Okay, hey. So in France, right here, just get back on task here. In France, they had the Dreyfus Affair. Oh God, that's right. I was tripping on the fact that this started Zionism. All right, so okay, when I was 21, I was in France. That's how I learned French. I was in France, and everything was taught in French, which is why it was really hard for me to understand was anything, because I didn't know any French when I went there. Damn, it was like crazy, man. See, that's what I'm saying. I did some crazy things. Like, crazy things. Like, if I would have known what I was doing, I wouldn't have done what I did, but I didn't know. So I was like, that's why I did it, because I didn't know how stupid it was. I didn't know better. Like, I didn't understand how hard it would be. Like, my ignorance of how difficult it would be is what let me do it. And I guess I was lucky that I was strong enough to be able to handle it. But God, it was real close sometimes. It was touch and go. So I was in France, and they told us about this. I took a class, and I learned about this. I had no idea what they were talking about. I mean, it was all in French, right? And my French was like barely there. So I was like, oh God, dude. I was in France. Derek was a doorman at the bar at Le Triangle. He used to be a U.S. Marine, got in trouble with the law, fled the U.S., went to the United States, or went to France, joined the Foreign Legion. For real! He finished his time in the Foreign Legion, came out speaking French, but he spoke French terribly. And he got a French wife. and but he hated her, so he was always looking for other women that like to fuck. And he worked at a bar, right? Oh man, dude, oh my god, he must have been around my age now, 45. Holy shit, dude, this is so weird. I'm tripping balls so much. Okay, I can understand why they say the singularity is near. Holy crap. All right. Oh, too far. What was I? Why do you? Okay, so yeah, they told us about this in France. I didn't understand it until I read this article about the Dreyfus affair. And so basically, the Dreyfus affair is like they accused some Jewish officer of treason, and it really divided the nation, the French nation. Like you either this side or that side. And they ended up convicting him, and like, oh god, it was awful. And I guess it lingered. It never got fixed because one side didn't care at all about the truth. They didn't care about the truth. And so if one side doesn't care about the truth and doesn't argue in good faith, then what you have is an enemy that you can't live with. Like shared values, you have to have a shared reality, a shared values, and they didn't have it back then, and it ended badly for them. And we don't have it now, and it's going to end badly for us. The Dreyfus affair, where was I at? So, in some ways, the Dreyfus affair was the culmination of an age-old clash between the French Revolution. On one side were the defenders of the Republic and its universal values. On the other side were the anti-Republican faction that preferred the grandeur of the monarchy, the sanctity of the church, and the prestige of the military. For many opponents of Dreyfus, the scandal was about defending the military's honor at all costs. But this is much too simple a reading of their intent, as is any single explanation given for Trump's appeal and support that he continues to enjoy among his followers. No matter how much evidence is shown to them or how many of his lies are exposed. Then, as now, these people had undertaken a deliberate embrace of irrationality, an almost primal flaunting of decency and civilized norms, merely because that it was possible, and because there was never any real consequence. The writer Charles Maurras, of one of the most virulent anti-Semites and anti-Dreyfards of the time, was even named to the Académie Française in 1938. In 1930, the nation's highest literary honor. All right, shut the hell up. Stop showing off. Or practicing. Okay. In the end, the institutions of the Republic prevailed, just as ours have, at least for the moment. Dreyfus was exonerated, although he should have never been convicted in the first place. Congress officially certified the results of the 2020 election, although not until after a punch attempt launched by the sitting president and carried out by his followers, a coup attempt. But there was never any reconciliation then, just as there will not be now. Those who had opposed Dreyfus, even in the face of incontrovertible evidence, were permitted to remain in their fanciful universe of illusion and lies, like the Confederacy. They might not have been a clear line between the right wing that radicalized during the Dreyfus affair and the events of the 1930s, but what began as something of a club for the like-minded bigots, locked in the lie of Dreyfus's guilt, then started inspiring actual violence. Groups born in the scandal, notably Action Française, Action Française beat up Jewish politicians such as Léon Blum, France's first ever Jewish prime minister, who nearly died from the 1936 attack. And they took center stage in a February 1934 insurrection attempt that looked quite a lot like the scenes from the Capitol invasion this month. Mother effers. Ever since the events of January 6th, the line among certain Democrats has been there can be no healing without accountability. But this is naive. There can be no accountability for those who engage in surreality, the dark province in which the world is apparently run by a cabal of prominent pedophiles, and where Trump somehow retained the White House in a landslide. As long as the president's supporters insult the notion of objective truth, coddled by conspiracy theorists and social media networks that stimulate a sense of community, there will be no common ground to seek, no America to reclaim. Perhaps there never was a unified America, but once upon a time there was a mutual reality, until there is again. These things will continue to deteriorate. If the Dreyfus Affair and France's Third Republic have any echo today, it is that we have not yet seen the worst. Right? Do you understand now why I have concerns about the Republic? Despite the fact that Biden takes power in less than 24 hours? It's that the damage to the Republic is more than simply a bad president. It's a corruption of our shared sense of reality, our values, and that a nation divided cannot stand. And a nation divided itself cannot stand. So our nation right now is divided because we have a group of people who are utterly insane in the sense that it's malignant suppression of reality, and it's lies. It's a celebration of lies and a rejection of truth. You can't have that on a nation based on truth. So this is why I'm worried about stuff. Here, let me give you an example of the utter refutation of what the United States stands for. This is Donald Trump's Secretary of State. His name is Secretary Pompeo, Mike Pompeo. He's a fascist. So what this guy tweeted was that he said that wokeism, the right-wing Nazis use wokeism as a pejorative, as a bad word. To be woke is bad to the Nazis, right? So he's saying F you right here. Wokeism, multiculturalism, all the isms. What all the isms? You said two, motherfucker. You said wokeism as a pejorative, but you meant is being aware of the shit in the United States. That's what wokeism is about. It's about being conscious of white supremacy. So wokeism is being conscious of white supremacy. So he's saying being conscious of white supremacy and multiculturalisms, he's saying this is not what America is about. Because for Mike Pompeo is a fascist. Mike Pompeo is a white supremacist. So to Mike Pompeo, what America is about is white supremacy. And being aware of the white supremacy and creating a world that's opposed to white supremacy, this multiculturalism, which is the antithesis of white supremacy, this, to Mike Pompeo, is not what America is about. Because to Mike Pompeo, America is about white supremacy. Our enemies stoke these divisions. What divisions? Multiculturalisms and being aware of white supremacy. That's not stoking divisions. That's being real. That's the problem that fascists have, is being real. They never be real. They use this bullshit stuff like this. Wokeism. The fuck? Say what you mean, motherfucker. Oh, wait, you can't because you're a fucking Nazi and you're not real. All right. Our enemies, the anti-fascists, that's me, that's right, motherfucker, stoke these divisions because they know they make us weaker. Yes, anti-fascists exist to make fascists weak until you don't exist. Because when you don't exist, I don't exist. Ha! Fuck. Man, wow. Right? So, this is an example of negative space. Negative space. What is negative space? You know, I was going to flesh this out before I talked, and I never did. I'm going to do it real quick right now. Negative space. Snip. New. I got to do this real quick. Okay, save. Let's call it negative space. What is negative space? I was gonna flesh this out and I forgot. I got distracted by the 4,000 threads I'm doing at once. And. Oh, it didn't save it where I thought it would save it. Save it. Yeah, it did. It did save it where I thought it would save it. Negative and negative space. Okay, let me close this one. Negative space in art is the space around and between the subject of an image. Negative space may be the most negative space may be most evident when the space around a subject, not the subject itself, forms an interesting or artistically relevant shape, such as a space occasionally, and such space is occasionally used to an artistic effect as the real subject of an image. So let me show you what I'm here. Here. I should have did this first. Snip. New. Oh. Save. Negative space 2. Okay. Go back to here. I was gonna do this before and I forgot. Man, see what you do? So Rubens' vase is an optical illusion in which the negative space around the face forms the silhouettes of two faces in profile. A well-known example of a figure ground in reversal by emphasizing that negative space. So if your eyes are looking at the thing that stands out, you're gonna miss it, right? What you have to look at is not the thing that's presented, but all the stuff that's not presented. Don't look at the thing that they show you. Look at the stuff that they don't show you. So in this example, they show you a vase, but the thing that's important is not the vase. That's the distraction. What's important is the negative space, the empty space, what they don't say, what they don't talk about. And then when you look at it, it creates a face, you see, on both sides. You see that? So come back to Mike Pompeo here. You have to look at what Mike Pompeo is not saying. The negative space. Because he's a Nazi, he never talks in good faith. So you never look at what he's saying. You look at the negative space around what he's not saying. So when you look at what he's talking about here, Pompeo, wokeism, I'm going to read it to you. Wokeism, multiculturalism, all the isms, they're not what who America is. They distort our glorious founding and what this country is all about. Our enemies stoke these divisions because they know they make us weaker. So let's look at the negative space about what he's talking about. So he's saying wokeism and multiculturalism are bad things. He's presenting them, but what he's not telling you is that he's presenting them because in a bad frame. The negative space around it is bad. So he's saying wokeism, the awareness of white supremacy, and multiculturalism are bad things. Why would he say they're bad things? Because where Mike Pompeo stands is with white supremacy. So from his perspective, they are evil. That's why good and evil are not so good to evaluate things, because they depend heavily on perspective. So from the perspective of white supremacy, being aware of white supremacy is bad. White supremacy wants to be hidden. White supremacy wants to be invisible. It doesn't want to be noticed. If you notice it, it's bad. Multiculturalism is the celebration of our shared reality, that we all have these shared values, and that's the important thing. What's not important is our culture. Right? Mexican culture, German culture, Native culture, Polish culture, Italian culture, Puerto Rican culture, black culture. It doesn't matter. They're all equally great. They're all wonderful. The more the better, because they all center on the spoke of truth, justice, and liberty. So this is wonderful. And Mike Pompeo, standing over here in white supremacy, hates this stuff. So he hates this stuff. So he's talking about how he hates it. He says that's evil. That's how you know Mike Pompeo's a Nazi, because you look at the negative space around him. That shows you he's a Nazi. So I fear for the Republic. I fear for the Republic. I fear for the Republic. What do we need to do to get rid of it? He tells us. Oh, wait, that's Lulu Lemieux. Thank you, Madame Lulu Lemieux. No, that's not it. Dreyfus Affair. Here it is. What never mattered was defending the Republic's values, a defense never made forcefully enough. I am making that defense as forcefully as I can, and I've already torn off my arm trying to make it happen. I got muted on Twitter and Facebook. Like, my social networks, I'm destroying my social networks in order, trying so hard to get this across. That you have to forcefully defend it, your values. And the way you forcefully defend your values is you will apply the legal system, the U.S. legal system against Donald Trump, try him for treason, and if he's guilty, execute him. You kill him. You don't kill him, you execute him, because that's the lawful penalty of death. That's executing the law. You execute the law, which is death. You execute the law, which is death, for Donald Trump. Because if you show any clemency to Donald Trump, what you're saying is that the society, those in power, recognize themselves in Donald Trump. If there's any clemency whatsoever to Donald Trump, the power that be is saying, I see myself in Donald Trump and I don't want to destroy it. Therefore, I will give you clemency. What does that look like in real life? The Germans, when Hitler first staged his coup against Germany in 1923, they did not crush him. Why? Because they recognized themselves in him. And they didn't want to hurt him. because they saw themselves. And what did they see themselves? What did they see in him? They saw fascism, which metastasized. Before that, Andrew Johnson did not crush the Confederacy. He let the Confederates back in the government. Why? Because he saw himself in them. He didn't go with the United States. He saw himself in the Confederates and did not crush them. He let them live. And they would go on to turn it on to Donald Trump. Donald Trump is the logical conclusion of not hanging the Confederates at the end of the Civil War. It is said. I said it. There it is. Donald Trump is the logical conclusion of not hanging the Confederates at the end of the Civil War. Therefore, to fix that, to remedy that, the United States must put Donald Trump on trial for treason, and if he's guilty, sentence him to death. Because we must defend our values of our nation. And we must make it known that there's nothing in Donald Trump that is recognized by the United States. There is nothing inside Donald Trump that has anything to do with the United States. Donald Trump is utterly foreign to the United States. There is nothing inside of him that is a part of us. He is utterly foreign. That is why you must execute him, to demonstrate that there's nothing of us in him. It is for the good of the Republic. It will break the spell of QAnon. And the fascists will go scurrying back to their holes, never to return, because they'll never, ever, ever have the power they had before. They will never reach it again. Their back is broken. They're done. But you have to execute Donald Trump for treason if he's found guilty by a U.S. court of law. Because failure to do so means he comes back in 10 years and probably kills me, because I'm sitting here saying that he should be, you know? Oh wait, has anyone said anything to me? Has anyone talked to me? No. No one even knows I'm doing this. No one even knows I'm doing this. How long have I been going? An hour. Okay, well I can go for another hour. It's the last time. So what else have we got here on my little clipboard? We have to do it. We have to do it. We have to. Negative space, Pompeo. All right, so, okay, how do we do this, what I'm talking about, right? What am I talking about? I'm talking about this guy. Oh, no. Dude, come on, really? Here, save as a JPEG. Sherman, sure. Okay, thank you. I should do this before. All right, here it goes. Yo, what up, G? Thank you. This here is General Sherman. What did this guy do? This guy understood. This guy had the vision. This guy here. This guy. This guy right here. This guy. He knows. This guy, he understood that to defeat the Confederacy, you had to crush it. You had to crush it utterly. You have to utterly crush it. He invented total war. Total war means you destroy everything. You burn everything. And that's what he did to Atlanta. Atlanta, Georgia. He marched his army to Atlanta, Georgia, and he burned it to the ground. That's how you break the back of the Confederacy. Because he didn't mess around. He understood you have to crush the spirit of the Confederacy. You must destroy it, or it will come back, which it has. But he understood. Sherman was convinced that the Confederacy's strategic, economic, and psychological ability to wage further war needed to be definitively crushed if the fighting were to end. If the fighting were to end, it must be crushed. If the fighting is to end, it must be crushed. I want unity, but if the fighting is to end, it must be crushed. We can't unify until it is crushed. White supremacy forces in our armed forces. Well, we knew that. Why is that? Here we go. White supremacy threat. Mr. Joel Rubin, Senor, it is time to treat white supremacy terrorism as the existential threat that it is. It is a feature, not an outlier of American life. Existential threat. It is an existential threat. The explosion of white supremacist violence displayed at the U.S. Capitol on January 6th was not an isolated event. Before Donald Trump and the QAnon-inspired crowds of seditious conspiracy theorists that back him arrived, there was the so-called Michigan militia, which in mid-1990s inspired Timothy McVeigh to murder 168 people by blowing up the Murrah Federal Building in Oklahoma City. And before that, for nearly a century, Southern white supremacists organized terrorist groups such as the Ku Klux Klan murdered and terrorized black Americans. This happened because, in an eerie echo of today's events, the legitimate results of the 1876 presidential election were overturned, prematurely ending Reconstruction and advancing white power while betraying the promise of equality for black Americans. White supremacist terrorism has been a feature, not an outlier, of American life. And as the national security community is aware, terrorism is multidimensional in nature. It therefore requires a multidimensional response, one that does not exist yet in the fight against white supremacy terrorism. One needs look no further than QAnon, the violent anti-Semitic conspiratorial movement that has metastasized in dozens of countries. It is a hydra-headed beast whose inspiration is Trump, a man believed to be the savior of white people everywhere. Yet, instead of labeling white supremacy and its allied movement as terrorists, the U.S. government has historically described them as hate groups. Why? Because the U.S. government sees itself inside those white supremacy terrorist groups. The same way the German government saw itself inside Hitler and spared Hitler. The same way Andrew Johnson saw himself inside the Confederacy and spared the Confederacy and let it back into the government. Right? All right. While their actions do of course demonstrate hate, their attacks are quintessentially political, manifesting themselves in acts of terrorism meant to impact and disrupt democratic political life. Yet, as the world witnessed the U.S. Capitol attack, the response to white rioters was remarkably restrained. Ask a person of color about whether they could march into the Capitol, break windows, sit in the House Speaker's chair, and take photos for sharing on social media, and they would laugh in your face. Everyone knows they would have likely faced the same fate as George Floyd. So now, as the United States has once again experienced a violent white riot, the question is, will the Biden administration recognize the failure of how Washington confronts white supremacist terrorism at home? And if so, how will it change? Will it change? How will it change? Remember that Republicans, the vast majority of Republicans, like I would say 99% of Republicans, are on board with Vladimir Putin. They have allied themselves with Vladimir Putin, right? Big charge, right? And we talked about it. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, this is a different one. Oh no, I didn't get it all. Okay, I tripped out. Damn it. All right. So, oh, wait a minute, it's still up. I gotta kill it. Let me kill it. Okay, so wait, let me hook that in. Okay, so we have a huge chunk of Americans who are on board with Vladimir Putin. And how do I say that? Because we know that Donald Trump has betrayed the United States. And I didn't get the title screen for this. I don't remember where this came from. So Donald Trump betrayed the United States. Damn it. How did I do this? What did I do? Donald. Okay, here we go. It's tripped out. All right. It all began with Russia. Donald Trump's 4 great betrayals of the nation. This was today that this came out by David Corn. Thank you, David Corn. David Corn. All right. Here are the indisputable basics. Russian leader Vladimir Putin ordered a covert assault employing information warfare on the 2016 U.S. elections. A 2017 report of the intelligence community, the 2019 report of the special counsel Robert Mueller, a 2018 House Intelligence Committee report, and a 2020 Senate Intelligence Committee report all stated that same thing. Russian leader Vladimir Putin ordered a covert assault employing information warfare on the 2016 election. All these Americans say this happened. All of them say this happened. The attack was real. Each of these reports, with the exception of the one from the House Intelligence Committee, which was written by highly partisan GOP allies of Trump, noted that one critical aim of the Russian operation was to elect Trump. Elect Trump. The Russians wanted to elect Trump. And it is certainly obvious that Moscow's hack and leak covert operation, which released stolen Democratic emails and documents, hurt Hillary Clinton's campaign and boosted Trump, particularly when it started disseminating pilfered materials hours after the emergence of Access Hollywood video that showed Trump's boasting that he grabbed women by the pussy. The weaponized leaking of these Democratic records continued through the final 4 weeks of the campaign. So there's one big incontrovertible fact. Trump won the presidency with Russian help. And another, Trump and his lieutenants aided and abetted Putin's attack on the United States. Oh, here's what I like. Yeah, okay. 3. And then I warped over here. Oh wait, no, not here yet. Over here. Trump's denials of these attacks were perhaps the first sign of how he would lead the Republicans into the perilous territory of alternative reality. Because Trump, the GOP presidential nominee, was insisting there was no Kremlin operation. All these Americans said there was a Kremlin operation, but Trump was saying no, 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 no. Republican Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell got in line. He refused President Barack Obama's request to join the White House in issuing a bipartisan response to Putin's assault. So Obama knew that Putin helped Donald Trump get into office. And so Obama was like, let's have a bipartisan response against Putin, saying you can't fuck with America. We're all unified against you. Don't fuck with America. And McConnell was like, no, I'm going with Putin and Trump and Putin against you. Right? McConnell sided with party, that is, Trump, over country. Consequently, the Russia attack became a highly partisan matter, and the United States' response was undermined. In this highly politicized environment, the Clinton campaign's warning about Russian interference were largely disregarded. Trump was able to reap the reward of Putin's operation without paying a price for assisting the enemy. During Trump's first impeachment, House Republicans relied on the false notion that Ukraine, not Russia, had interfered in the 2016 election to defend their dear leader. Trump's effort to pressure the Ukraine president to manufacture a phone investigation to show this, which would clear Russia, had led to an initial impeachment. For years, Trump's Republican loyalists, following his lead, lied about the Russian scandal and took whatever desperate measures they could cook up to miscast it as nothing but a partisan crusade to destroy Trump. They all were complicit. They all helped Putin and Trump get away with it. They all surrendered to Russia. This was the original sin of the Trump presidency. It doesn't get much worse than a commander-in-chief providing aid and comfort to the enemy. But that's precisely what happened. So now you got all these Republicans siding with Putin. Because listen to Putin. What does Putin say? Russian President Vladimir Putin denied his government meddled in the 2016 election. Putin and other Russian officials have hotly denied any interference with the U.S. vote to help Donald Trump win the presidency, even though Special Counsel Robert Mueller has uncovered evidence of a Kremlin operation to interfere with the 2016 vote. So you got all the Republicans, Donald Trump, and Putin on one side, and you have all these other Americans, mainly the Democrats, on the other side. And the Republicans, regular rank and file Republicans, all follow Donald Trump and Putin. They're all with Putin against the Americans. That's where we're at right now in the information war. And that's why I continue to assert that the United States must put the full weight of the justice system against Donald Trump. It must try Donald Trump for treason, and if Donald Trump is found guilty of treason, it must execute the lawful penalty of death on Donald Trump. I am not doing this because I'm some crazy person. I'm doing it because it's the facts, it's the truth, it's the straight up logic. And if you love this republic, if you love the United States, if you want to defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic, you will put Donald Trump on trial for treason, and if he's guilty, you will execute him. I mean, we have a bunch of people here who who are loyal to Putin and not the United States. That freaks me out. They attacked, the people loyal to Putin attacked the US Capitol and almost murdered Congress. The people loyal to Putin almost murdered Congress. I mean, are you paying attention? The guy is a traitor. If we don't execute Donald Trump, there's no reason to have that law. Then our laws are paper tigers. Our laws mean nothing if we don't execute Donald Trump for treason. Our laws will be worthless. It'll be obvious that our laws are only used to hurt poor people and weak people. It'll be obvious. Did I get back? Did I reconnect? I reconnected. All right. So yeah. All right, I think, yeah. This has nothing to do with vengeance, nothing to do with violence, though you can fix a lot of things that are broken. I'm telling you. I'm not, no one's paying me to do this. Look what they're doing. Look what Parler's new Russian security company tells me it doesn't endorse extremism or radical organizations. It says Parler hasn't broken any US laws, so yes, it will continue to provide protection. So there's a Russian company that's protecting Parler from cyber attack. Parler got shut down in the United States. So Parler moved to Russia and is protected by Russia. So all the right-wingers in the United States are logging onto a chat program in Russia to launch attacks against the United States, to plan attacks against the United States. I mean, oh my gosh, I don't know what else to do. Here, let's talk about Lulu Lemieux. She's a wonderful woman. I'm glad that I've found her. She's awesome. Leader of the U.S. extremist group, the Base, Al-Qaeda, who was married to a Russian woman, fled to Russia, and resides in St. Petersburg, is back at it. So this guy is in St. Petersburg. He runs the Base, which is Al-Qaeda in the United States. And he says, to fulfill our political aspirations, we are relying upon the gradual emergence of lawless regions within the United States, where federal authorities are unable or unwilling to restore law and order, said Nazaro in a post on Telegram. That's all. Okay. He's trying to coordinate all this online and covert networks of trainers and recruits to do the works in firearms, battle drills, urban reconnaissance, and other paramilitary skills, even offering to pay for local training inside the United States from St. Petersburg, Russia. So this Nazi living in Russia is trying to build an insurrection army in the United States from Russia. Lulu Lemieux, right? That's what's going down. Ronaldo Nazaro, a founder of Nazi terror group The Base, is attempting to once again set up a paramilitary training network across the U.S. by Ben McCutch. By Ben McCutch. That's by Ben McCutch. I don't know. I'm sorry. It's a good article. All right. Amidst a raging backdrop of far right-wing violence in the United States, the Russia-based former leader and founder of a neo-Nazi terror group has turned his attention to a new project, re-establishing secretive paramilitary training across the United States. Ronaldo Nazaro, a former Pentagon contractor originally from New Jersey, who is said to have worked on targeting operations with U.S. Special Forces, founded and led The Base, until a nationwide FBI crackdown dismantled the organization, and close to a dozen of its members were arrested for, amongst other things, an assassination plot and planning a mass shooting. He wants a second civil war. His project is not intended to have an immediate impact. There may come a time when they will need to kill American citizens if their insurgency is challenged. Any resistors must be dealt with swiftly and somewhat harshly to establish your authority. So even this guy knows that the way you establish authority is you get rid of people who resist. And so the United States needs to get rid of Donald Trump because he's threatening our authority. He's threatening the Constitution. In my opinion, we are going to see more Russian disinformation and propaganda aimed at further radicalizing individuals, and even more targeted at military and veterans to push violence. Putin has a primed audience at his disposal. I worry where we'll be if we don't make disrupting this a priority. The way you disrupt it is you put Donald Trump on trial for treason, and if he's guilty, you execute him per law. Trump tweets the time of his protests. Then he retweets the cavalry is coming on January 6th. Sounds like a war. About this time, the FBI begins visiting right-wing extremists to tell them not to go. So Donald Trump is using Twitter to stage a coup. And Twitter let him. The violent imagery used throughout the promotion of this event needs a whole separate thread. But here's the cavalry is coming. This is Twitter being used to stage a coup. I get kicked off Twitter for saying lawful consequences of sedition, but they get to stay on Twitter for inciting insurrection. I don't know, Twitter. You tell me, dude. I don't know. Trump called GA Governor Kemp to pressure him to find votes for him to win. The same day, the Donald site users are openly calling for civil war on January 6th. Here's the post that prompted an FBI intelligence report in VA a few days later. Okay, blah, 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 blah. Be ready to fight. Trump sends January 5th. Trump sends a series of tweets promoting the rally. So Trump used Twitter to promote an insurrection, but I get kicked off the Twitter for saying, hey, Trump, you're going to go to... Here's the penalties for doing what you're doing. Your crime. Tell me what's wrong. I don't know. Why am I getting kicked off Twitter for that? I don't get it. I don't get it. I'm getting pretty tipsy, man. All right. Trump tweets at various law enforcement, intelligence, and military agencies that he supposedly oversees about the threat from Antifa. Oh, they call it Antifa. That's funny. Antifa. At the same time, a VA FBI office warns of a war at the Capitol from the far right starting the next day. Like, dude, and I get kicked off Twitter? Fucking, what the fuck? Alright, guys. Oh, shit, I'm fucked up. I'm pretty drunk. I drink a lot of wine. It's the last night. I gotta drink a lot of water before I go to bed. We're on the cusp of multiracial democracy, and white supremacists hate it. And white supremacists are all over the place. Look at fucking Mike Pompeo. That guy is like pledging allegiance to fascism. That guy is stating very clearly that he's a white supremacist. You can see it through the negative space, because Nazis will never openly say that they're Nazis. They never say that. You have to look at the negative space to see Nazis. The more you do it, the better you get at it. What else do I have over here? Imposter syndrome. And and maladaptive behavior. I learned a little bit about dialectical behavioral therapy. That was pretty interesting. It was super interesting. I was like totally digging it. It was cool. But basically what it was saying is that humans, in order to respond to stress, develop behaviors to respond to that stress. And sometimes the behaviors they develop to respond to stress are not so good. So it's like the exact opposite of psychoanalysis. The exact opposite. It's hilarious. Psychoanalysis is like a lengthy, long-ass process of getting to know the person and really trying to figure them out and stuff. And it takes a long-ass time, and you gotta build this huge narrative. And this other version, dialectical behavioral therapy, it sounds like no, we don't need to know any of that shit. That sounds like a bunch of work that I don't want to touch. That sounds crazy. So instead, what we're gonna do is we're gonna look at the behaviors, the literal behaviors, figure out the behaviors that are bad, and then stop them. And then in the process of that, maybe that'll help the person work through their shit and give them energy to work through their shit. So it's basically attacking the problem in the opposite direction. I'm like, that's cool, I can dig it. So what was I talking about? What? Imposter syndrome. Yeah, imposter syndrome. So imposter syndrome is the feeling that like everyone's gonna find out that you're fake, that you're not actually competent about what you're doing, and that you're actually just faking it, and that everyone's gonna know, and it like destroys your self-confidence. Is basically what imposter syndrome does. And so like, yeah, you want to like reassure someone that no, you're cool, that you're doing all right. But really, imposter syndrome, from the perspective of dialectical behavioral therapy, I'm thinking, I don't know, I'm not an expert on that at all, right? I don't even know it. But I'm thinking, if I wanted to flip it on its head, what would that look like? Imposter syndrome. And it would look like the natural response of someone being overloaded by a society that places too much emphasis on production. Like, humans aren't designed to produce. That's not what we're made to make. I mean, like, if you want to get all like designer on people, humans aren't designed to produce. Like, that's something that is forced upon humans because of our capitalist system that has forced humans to sell their labor producing something in order to eke out an existence. That's not what we're about. Humans aren't supposed to produce things. Like, or if they are, they're supposed to produce art, like things that reaffirm their humanity and their existence. They're not supposed to produce commodities. Like, that's alienating to produce commodities. But that's beside the point. I'm getting off topic. So like feeling like an imposter, that's like the natural response of a system that's overloading you to produce constantly. Well, like, so that you feel like no matter what you produce is not adequate for the system, therefore producing a feeling of imposterism. But that's not your fault. It's not a weakness. That's not a bad thing of you. That's the natural response, and that's pointing to a flaw in the system, not a flaw in the human. The human's just acting like a human. The flaw is in the system that's making the human feel like it has to constantly produce. Negative space. Look for the negative space. Man, this is like a great episode. I'm loving this episode. I don't know if it's the alcohol, or if it's the fact that like it's like the end of an era, or what. Like, this just feels like weird. I have no other like clip art to show. Man, I don't know. I'm pretty like tipsy too, so it's kind of hard to like maintain anything. I want to thank you guys for hanging out with me. Like, there's no one here right now, I don't think. But I don't know. I kind of trip on stuff, so I'm not really sure of anything anymore. But like, yeah, this has been a journey for me too, right? Like, so here's the thing. Martin Holmes, great painter, great artist. Riverside Artist Office. I don't even know if he's alive anymore. I kind of had a yeah. I don't know what's going on there. But he told me a story once, and I don't remember the details of it because his stories were crazy. It was hard to piece together. But in one of the stories he told me, it was about an artist who said he created his world. He like planned it out. He created the world, and then he flew up into a plane and he jumped out and he jumped into his world. The world that he created. And at the time he said it, I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. And then now at the end of this, I'm like, after playing, after 3 couple years, I don't know how long playing Minecraft, I'm like, holy shit, dude, that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm literally making the world and like jumping into it and like flying around. Talk about encoding, huh? So it just trips me out. It's mysterious. Existence is so mysterious. Like, you think you have it figured out, and I'm like, no, the mystery, the greater mystery, it's there. It's still there. It's a mystery. Yeah, multicultural democracy. It's evolution. Yo, it's evolution. It's evolution. It's an evolution that's been delayed for way too long. It should have happened a long time ago. But for our failure to deal with the issues, and like, we basically need to finish Reconstruction. There are large swaths of the South that are terribly underdeveloped. And they're all basically living, with minorities who live there. So, like, we need to finish Reconstruction. Sherman, as he marched through the seat and waged total war, he deposed the large plantation owners. And so what he was left with was a bunch of like newly freedmen and like poor white people. And so he said, well, look, here's a bunch of animals. They're like sick or they're lame. If you can nurse them back to health, you can keep them. And here, all this land that used to belong to one person, I'm going to chop it up. Like, every person gets 40 acres and a mule, basically. And then like, and all the people were living cool. It was great. It was awesome. It was wonderful. And then Andrew Johnson came back through and said, no, we're redoing all that nonsense. We're going back the old way. I think the United States needs to summon the spirit of General Sherman again. We need to utterly crush the Confederacy. And to do that, we need to put Donald Trump on trial for treason, and if he's guilty, we need to execute him. For the good of the Republic. Man, I've been going forever. I'm gonna be puking tomorrow. I hate it. But, alright. Good thing tomorrow's a vacation day. Alright. So yeah, if y'all want to do something like anytime in the future, I don't know, right? I'm open to collaboration. But I think I need to like close it up here. I said my piece. I don't know what else I can possibly say. I'm sure there's lots, but I don't know how to make it coherent, make it relevant. So I love you guys, and love you all. Love you folks, Americans, South, Central, and North Americans. Love you all. And we're gonna do this. We're gonna like enter into a new age. It's gonna be awesome. And we have giant challenges ahead, like climate change. Holy crap! Oh my god. Oh man, that's gonna wreck me. Climate change. All right, but yo, we're gonna do it. We got each other. We got each other. I love you. I love you. I love you. Okay. PoGokeRo signing off. Joe Biden presidency coming up. Peace. And if fascism comes back, I'll be back. Peace. Signing off.